Hey there, cat lover. Welcome to Mystery Paws. Let me tell you something about your cat. When you leave your cat home alone, it seems harmless. You filled the food bowl, you topped off the water, and with a quick goodbye, you close the door. But for your cat, the silence begins. The space they knew, once full of your presence, your footsteps, your voice, your scent, suddenly turns hollow, still, lifeless. And in that stillness, something begins to unravel. Boredom in cats isn't just a mild inconvenience. It's an invisible threat. Not loud, not immediate, but powerful. A quiet erosion of their instinct, peace, and safety. Cats are not built for stillness. They are hunters by blood, problem solvers by nature. Their minds are wired to stalk, explore, and calculate. When left alone in an unstimulating environment, their instincts don't disappear. They misfire. What does that look like? A cat might chew through cords, knock over fragile objects, claw furniture with a restless edge. They might try to squeeze into small, unsafe spaces, tight gaps behind appliances, unstable shelves, cabinets with hazards. It's not because they're misbehaving, it's because they're trying to live in a space that no longer speaks to them. No matter how cat-proof you think your home is, boredom has a way of finding the cracks, and it happens quietly. That's what makes it dangerous. Without mental or physical engagement, stress builds under the surface. Frustration becomes energy without direction, and over time, that energy turns destructive. Not because they're bad, but because they're forgotten. That's why entertainment for a cat isn't a luxury. It's essential care. A bored cat is not a safe cat. Fortunately, there are simple, powerful ways to change this. Puzzle feeders are one of the best tools. They tap into a cat's natural food motivation, turning meals into missions. A few treats, hidden behind a challenge, can give them 20 minutes of focus and satisfaction. It mimics the reward of the hunt. It nourishes more than just the body. It calms the mind. Motion-triggered toys are another lifeline. Spring-loaded, rolling, chirping, they give the illusion of prey. The chase becomes real. The silence disappears. Even rotating toys weekly keeps the novelty alive. To a cat, something that vanished and returns later is not just a toy. It's a mystery, a story, a challenge. Window perches turn a simple window into a theater of birds, leaves, and passing life. It's their television. A source of stimulation that never repeats the same scene twice. Enrichment doesn't have to be expensive. It just has to be thoughtful. Because when you step out the door, your cat doesn't just lose you. They lose the spark of their world. And unless we give them a reason to stay engaged, that spark begins to fade. We often talk about feeding cats. We talk about water, about keeping the litter box clean, but we rarely talk about how to keep a cat's mind well-fed. And the truth is, when the mind starves, the body soon follows. So the next time you leave, ask yourself, is there something for them to chase, to solve, to wonder about? Because a silent house may feel calm to us, but to a cat left without stimulation, that silence can feel like abandonment. Don't let your home become a void. Let it be a world they can live in, even when you're not there. Boredom doesn't look dangerous until it is. You filled the water bowl before you left. That should be enough, right? But what if your cat disagrees? What if, while you were gone, the only bowl tipped over? Or the water warmed under the sun? Or dust settled in the surface just enough for your cat to walk away in silence? Cats are creatures of mystery, independent, proud, often quiet about their needs. But behind that independence is a truth we often forget. They are also vulnerable. And when it comes to water, their silence can become a risk. Unlike dogs, cats aren't driven to drink frequently. Their ancestors survived in deserts. Their bodies are efficient. But that efficiency comes at a price. By the time a cat feels thirsty, dehydration has already begun. Now imagine this. You're gone overnight, maybe 2 days, and the one bowl you left, just one, was rejected, ignored, or knocked over by accident. To you, it's just a spilled bowl. To them, it's hours without hydration, a dry mouth, A body slowly slipping into imbalance. Dehydration in cats doesn't always show right away. It starts in whispers, slight lethargy, dry gums, sunken eyes. But it escalates quietly. Kidney strain, urinary issues. In older cats or those with medical conditions, it becomes more than discomfort. It becomes danger. And the worst part? They won't always tell you. They won't cry out, they won't whine. They'll wait, endure, fade. That's why leaving just one water source isn't safe. Not because it's careless, but because it depends on too many things going right. A secure lid, the right temperature, a clean bowl, a location your cat actually likes. Cats are picky. They might ignore a bowl simply because it's too close to the food, or too deep, or smells slightly off. And once they reject it, they don't try again. That's why every cat-friendly home needs options. 2, even 3 sources, placed in different rooms. Some cats drink more from glass. Others prefer metal. Still others are drawn to sound, to the gentle ripple of a fountain. Cat water fountains do more than look pretty. They trigger instinct. The flowing movement mimics natural streams. It taps into a buried memory. Moving water is safe, clean, alive. Some cats drink twice as much from a fountain as they do from a bowl. And for cats who love to knock things over, heavy ceramic bowls, weighted bases, spill-proof designs. Because the cost of a flipped bowl isn't just a mess, it's a moment of need that goes unmet. Water is life. And for cats, access must be more than a single place, a single hope. We so often think of our homes as safe havens for our pets. But safety isn't just about removing danger. It's about ensuring comfort, even in our absence. So before you leave next time, don't just check the water. Think beyond the bowl. Would your cat drink from that location? Is there a backup if something spills? Is it fresh, cool, inviting? Because one bowl is a coin toss. Multiple sources? That's a plan. Your cat may never thank you with words, but in the steady way they stretch out for a nap, in the quiet comfort they show when you return. That's their way of saying, I was okay. You took care of me. It's not about being perfect, it's about being prepared. Because in the stillness of your empty home, your cat listens for every sound. And the soft trickle of a fountain might be the only voice that says, you're not alone. You check the food bowl, it looks full enough. A few kibbles left from this morning. A can that's half untouched. You think, that'll hold them over. But for your cat, hunger is never just about emptiness. It's about routine, smell, safety. And when something feels off, they often won't eat. Not out of stubbornness, but out of instinct. Cats are sensitive in ways we forget. A change in texture, a slightly stale smell, a bowl that hasn't been washed in days. These tiny shifts can turn a meal into something they avoid. And if you're not home to notice, the consequences begin to build, quietly. Unlike other animals, cats are fragile when it comes to fasting. Their bodies aren't built to go long without food. Even 24 hours without eating can trigger a chain reaction inside them. When a cat skips meals, their body begins breaking down stored fat for energy. But here's the problem. Their liver isn't designed to handle large amounts of fat all at once. As that fat floods the system, the liver struggles. It begins to accumulate, pushing normal function aside. This condition is called hepatic lipidosis, or fatty liver disease, and it can become fatal in a matter of days. What makes it more dangerous is how quietly it begins. Your cat may seem tired, less playful, a little withdrawn. You think they're just sulking because you've been away, but inside, their body is fighting to stay balanced. Stress can make this worse. Some cats stop eating simply because you're not there. They grieve your absence more than they show. Others are thrown off by an unfamiliar sound, a new scent, or a sudden change in their environment. That's why feeding your cat before you leave isn't enough. You need to plan for consistency, because consistency is comfort. Automatic feeders can help. They dispense measured meals at the right time, so your cat never waits too long. They offer structure, a promise that food will come even if you're not there to serve it. But no machine can sense if your cat skipped the meal. No timer can tell if the food went untouched. And that's why the safest option, especially for longer trips, is still a human. Someone to check the bowl, to see if your cat ate, to notice if their appetite changes, To act before a skipped meal turns into a medical emergency. Even if you're only gone overnight, consider what your cat is used to. Do they eat small meals throughout the day? Are they picky about freshness or temperature? Would they walk away from food that sat out too long? Then prepare accordingly. You're not overthinking it. You're protecting a delicate balance that your cat depends on. Because food for them is more than fuel. It's grounding, reassurance, stability. Cats won't always cry when they're hungry. They won't bark, or whimper, or alert you. They go quiet, they wait, and if nothing changes, their body pays the price. So before you walk out the door, ask yourself, will the food still feel right to them 3 hours from now? 6 hours? Overnight? If the answer is no, or even maybe, make a plan. Because hunger in cats doesn't always end in begging. Sometimes it ends in silence. And sometimes, silence is the most dangerous sound of all. It starts with a flick of the paw, a bounce, a curl, a twist in midair. To you, it's just a hair tie, maybe a rubber band. But to your cat, it's prey. The way it springs, the way it moves. It mimics everything their instincts crave. It's unpredictable, small, fast. It activates the hunter inside them. You might even laugh, watching them bat it across the floor, chase it under the couch, carry it proudly in their mouth like a prize. But hidden in that moment of play is a danger most cat owners never see coming. Because cats don't always stop at play. Sometimes, instinct tells them to finish the hunt, to bite, to swallow. And that's when the toy becomes a threat. Hair ties and elastic bands are deceptively small. They coil and twist in ways that make them easy to gulp down without a second thought. Once inside, the danger grows. These flexible little objects can tangle within the intestines, looping through and tightening, like a drawstring pulled too far. They don't just block digestion, they can cut blood supply, tear tissue. They turn a fun afternoon into an emergency surgery no one saw coming. And the worst part? You may not notice it right away. A cat that swallowed a hair tie might act normal for a while, until they don't. Suddenly they're vomiting, refusing food, hiding, crying in the middle of the night. By the time the symptoms appear, the damage may already be done. Veterinary care at this point is urgent and often invasive. X-rays, surgery, days of recovery. And for some cats, it's a battle they don't win. All from something as innocent as a stray band left on the bathroom counter. But here's the good news. This is entirely preventable. The key is awareness and vigilance. If your cat is drawn to string-like objects, treat them the way you would any hazardous material. Keep hair ties, rubber bands, and drawstrings stored away in drawers. Do a sweep before you leave the house. Check countertops, nightstands, bathroom sinks, anywhere a curious paw might reach. If you want to mimic that play safely, choose toys made for chewing. Durable, vet-approved options that won't come apart in their mouth. And always supervise play when string is involved. Because what feels like harmless fun can turn into heartbreak in a heartbeat. We think of danger as sharp edges, loud sounds, open flames. But sometimes danger looks like a quiet moment of play with something small, stretchy, and silently deadly. So protect your cat from what they don't yet understand, because they trust you. And trust means keeping even the smallest threat out of reach. You turn the dial, lower the heat, or switch off the AC before leaving, because why waste energy when no one's home? But for your cat, what you leave behind isn't an energy bill. It's an environment they can't change, a temperature they can't escape. It's easy to forget that cats are deeply affected by the climate of your home. We assume their fur keeps them warm enough. We assume they'll find shade if it gets too hot. But those assumptions can become dangerous, especially when we're not there to help. Cats aren't like us. They can't shed a layer of clothing. They can't open a window or snuggle into a heated blanket by choice. They can only react to what we've left behind. And when temperatures fall below 45 degrees or 7 degrees, the risk of hypothermia becomes real. Their small bodies lose heat faster than we think. And while they might curl into a tight ball or hide under a blanket, it's often not enough. The cold doesn't knock loudly, it creeps in. A slowed heartbeat, shallow breaths, a body quietly struggling to stay alive. On the other side of the spectrum, heat brings its own silent threat. When the temperature inside rises above 100 degrees F or 38 degrees C, your cat's ability to cool down is limited. They don't sweat the way we do. Their only relief is panting, small amounts of sweat from their paw pads, and whatever cool surfaces they can find. But in a locked-up house with no airflow, even shade can't stop the heat from closing in. And heat stroke doesn't wait for hours. It builds fast. It can lead to seizures, organ failure, and for some, it ends without warning, all because we thought the house would be fine. Comfort for us isn't the same as comfort for them. That's why maintaining a safe indoor climate is more than a kindness. It's a responsibility. The ideal temperature range for most cats is between 60 and 75 degrees F, or about 15 to 24 degrees C. A space that feels neutral, calming, balanced. That doesn't mean running your AC or heat full blast. Many smart thermostats now allow you to set minimum and maximum ranges, so the house adjusts only when needed. A small cost in energy can make the difference between a restful nap and a medical emergency. In colder months, leave out a fleece blanket or a heated pet bed. In warmer seasons, make sure there's airflow, draw the blinds, leave a fan on. Always provide access to clean, cool water, because in heat, hydration becomes survival. We care so deeply for our cats. We buy the best food. We choose the safest litter. We love them with everything we have. But sometimes, the danger isn't sharp or loud. Sometimes it's invisible, ambient, lingering in the air itself. So before you leave, pause, touch the floor, breathe in the room. Ask yourself, if I were here all day, with no voice, no way to change this, would I be okay? Because your cat will never tell you they're too hot or too cold. They'll simply endure until they can't. It starts with a pounce, a flick of the paw, a graceful leap across the room, eyes locked, body tense, perfectly still, then lightning. Your cat chases a string, a ribbon, a feather on a wand, and in that moment they are exactly who they're meant to be. A hunter, a dancer, a creature of instinct and precision. But what happens when the toy isn't a toy? When the thing they chase isn't a feather but a charging cable, not a string, but a live wire hanging from a desk, pulsing silently with electricity? To us, cords are background noise. To them, they're prey. Long, thin, dangling, moving with the air. They look like everything their instincts have taught them to pursue. And when left out, unguarded, exposed, those cords become traps we never meant to set. It doesn't take much, a kitten teething, a curious adult left alone with nothing else to do. They bite, they chew, they explore the only way they know how, through their mouth, their teeth, their need to feel. And in that moment, play becomes peril. Chewed cords can lead to frayed insulation, sparking ends, and in the worst case, direct contact with electricity. An electric shock may be instant or delayed. It may cause burns, neurological damage, cardiac arrest. Some cats survive, others don't. But even without electricity, cords can still be lethal. Long headphone wires, blind strings, even thin drawstrings from a hoodie. If swallowed, they can tangle inside a cat's digestive tract. These soft, silent materials thread their way through the intestines like invisible wire. They twist, they bunch, they cut blood flow, tear delicate tissue, and block everything behind them. Surgery is often the only way out. Painful, costly, unpredictable, and worst of all, it was avoidable, because danger doesn't always look dangerous. Sometimes it looks like a laptop left charging, a phone cord dangling from the nightstand, a window blind dancing in the breeze. The smallest oversight becomes the biggest regret. So what can you do? Start with awareness. Before you leave, scan the room like your cat would. Look low, look behind. Follow the path of the curious. Unplug anything that doesn't need to be on. Tuck cords behind furniture. Use cable covers, protective tubing, or even taste deterrent sprays. Secure blind cords up high, out of reach. Switch to cordless window coverings if you can. And if your cat is relentless, constantly drawn to wires, then redirect that instinct with toys made for chasing and chewing. Not plastic, not fragile, but safe. Designed with their wildness in mind. You don't have to wrap your home in bubble wrap. You just have to see the world the way they do. Because what we overlook, they discover. What we think is harmless, they explore with everything they are. Curiosity may not kill the cat, but cords left behind just might. So before you walk out the door, unplug the danger. Tuck it away, tie it up, and give your cat a space where instinct is safe, where hunting doesn't come with consequence. They trust us to see what they cannot. Let's not wait until the cord is chewed to realize what should have been protected all along. You've cleaned the litter box, filled the bowls, left a toy or two out. You've done everything right? Almost. But as you grab your keys and close the front door behind you, something small goes unnoticed. A closet door half open. A cabinet just slightly ajar. A bedroom where the wind could swing the door shut at any moment. And for your cat, that forgotten door could become a trap. Cats are explorers. They're drawn to the unknown, to spaces they're not usually allowed in, to quiet corners, dark nooks, cracks of light between doors. That's how it starts. They slip in, curious, silent, swift. You don't see it happen. You're already gone. And hours later, the door that was half open is now fully shut, sealed behind them. No food, no water, no litter box, no way out. To a cat, it's not just being stuck. It's panic, darkness, confusion, and no one's coming when they meow. Maybe they're just trapped in a closet or behind a laundry door. Maybe it's only been a few hours. But time is different for them when they're scared. And if you're gone for longer, overnight, or worse, that sealed space becomes a prison. Dehydration sets in. Stress builds. They may relieve themselves out of desperation. They may hurt themselves trying to scratch or squeeze out. And you may come home to more than a mess. You may come home to fear. Or worse, silence. We don't mean to put them at risk, but doors are tricky things. A gentle breeze, a shift in air pressure, a misaligned latch, and what was safe an hour ago is now shut tight. So what can we do? Walk your home before you leave. Not casually, intentionally. Check every door, closets, bathrooms, pantries, cabinets. Ask yourself, could this door swing shut while I'm gone? Could my cat fit inside and not be able to get out? Then secure it. Use heavy objects to prop doors open. Door stops, weighted wedges, or furniture. For cabinets and drawers, install child-proof latches or keep them fully closed and latched. If there are rooms you don't want your cat entering at all, close them and check again to make sure they haven't slipped in behind you. Cats move like shadows. You won't always hear them. You won't always see them tuck into a space at the last moment. But that's why the habit matters. The door check. The extra minute before you leave. It might feel small, but it could save them from hours of fear. And more than that, it shows them something they may never understand in words. That even when you're not home, you're still watching over them, still thinking ahead, still protecting them in ways they'll never see. Because cats trust us with the world they can't control. Let's make sure every corner of that world stays open, safe, free. No door should become a cage, not for the ones who trust us to leave it open. You lock the door, you turn the key, and you walk away, trusting that everything inside your home will stay just as you left it. But there's one heart that doesn't move with you. It stays behind. Small, quiet, watching, waiting. They don't know how long you'll be gone. They don't understand clocks or calendars or the word soon. They only know that you were here and now you're not. They wait in the silence you left behind, in the stillness of rooms once filled with your footsteps, in the quiet hum of appliances, in the soft rustle of a curtain that moves but isn't you. And while they wait, they trust. They trust that you remembered their food, their water, that the room won't grow too cold, that the toys you left weren't just decorations, but lifelines. They trust that doors won't close behind them, that wires won't bite back, that the home they explore is safe even when you're far away. It's a trust so deep, so quiet, that we often forget we hold it, but we do. We hold their world in our hands, not just when we're petting them, not just when we post cute photos or buy treats, but in the everyday choices, in the things we forget or remember to do before we leave. A bowl of water in the wrong spot, a toy with a hidden thread, a closet door left ajar, These things seem small, but to a cat, they are everything. Because their world is smaller than ours, their freedom is limited, and their survival often depends not on what we give them, but on what we fail to see. Still, they wait. Not with anger, not with resentment. Just quiet hope that you'll come back, that when the door opens, it'll be your scent, your voice, your familiar shape moving through the light. And when that happens, when you return, they may not rush to greet you like a dog would. They may not make a sound, but watch their tail. Watch how it flicks once. Watch how they stretch just a little longer than usual. How they follow you from room to room with calm, steady steps. That's their way of saying, you came back, you remembered me, I was safe. So let's honor that trust. Let's be more than caretakers. Let's be protectors of their stillness, architects of their peace. Because the moments we leave them behind are not empty. They're filled with invisible questions and silent faith. Let our answer be gentle. Let it be prepared. Let it be loving, even in our absence. Because to us, it's just a door closing. But to them, it's a promise. A promise that even when they're alone, they're never truly forgotten.